Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. On my couch tonight. We're shooting this at night. This is rare. It's Pete Souvall.
Hey.
Hey.
So I'm in this beautiful house with his dual... Is that a convection oven?
The convection oven on the bottom and a microwave oven on
Oh
the
my
top.
God, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. Beautiful home. It's got backsplash tile and everything.
This is the special HDTV edition of the podcast. We got a property brother here right now coming to talk about pricing values of this.
Is that
place.
what I look like?
You do look like the property brother who went rogue. And he went off on Rumspringa and just stayed, and the other two just were like, we're gonna just get real jacked.
I'll take that. I'll take it. Listen, I'm jacked.
You can't tell because you're wearing these long shirts all the time.
It's low-key jacked, okay?
It's good to be low-key
but
jacked.
it's there. It's there. A lot of years of bulimia and...
I always forget that you're bulimic, and then you bring it up, and it's great because no dude comic talks about being bulimic.
I know, yeah. Which is probably just as well. It's not like it's a festive topic to bring up. People get tight about it.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, as the only bulimia joke I ever told is about when I worked at the Comedy Store, I said I have had to clean up more white girl puke than the janitor at a bulimia recovery clinic, which true and fun.
Yeah.
But crowds do not like it.
Yeah, it's weird. Because I bring it up, it'll be at open mics. I feel like people just at open mics don't generally know what to laugh at if it's okay. But like I'll say a thing. My mom will be like, I always knew you'd be skinny because your feet were big. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? And she's like, I just knew you'd stretch out. I'm like, you could be tall and fat. And then... she goes, no, you got my genes. And I had said, was it the bulimia? You sure it wasn't the bulimia? that? And she's like, no, it's my genes. I'm like, okay, cool. But so some crowds or some micers love it, and others just fucking are like, ugh.
I can imagine it probably depends on where, too. It's probably a locational type of joke.
Yeah. The dudes at Fourth Wall aren't generally super into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what a movie that I would imagine the dudes at Fourth Wall are not into? The movie we've come to talk about today. Look at the transition.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street.
It's bullshit. It's a bullshit movie. It's a bullshit fucking movie.
That's the quietest anyone has ever said anything on the show before.
It's funny because I told my wife the movie I was doing, and she loves that movie. So there are like 4 movies that she loves that I absolutely hate.
Okay.
And this is one of them.
What are the other 3?
Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice, and Frozen. And like she'll watch them on a fucking loop. And it drives me up the wall. Like, I'll watch King of the Hill all day, but I watch different episodes.
Right.
So, like, and I fast forward through the intro, so that debunks the whole, like, well, it's the intro that'll drive me. No, fuck you. It's different episodes.
Right. It helps that there are, 13 seasons of King of the Hill?
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
That you can rock through?
Listen to you. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I know King of the Hill.
Oh, my God.
I know a thing or two about Arlen.
Yeah, dude. God damn it, Arlen. I really wish that, like... Because Simpsons is on as 30 seasons deep, and if they would have ended it 15 years ago, it would have been perfect. And then I wish that King of the Hill would have gone for maybe 3 more seasons.
God, that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, it started to round out a little bit more. It was like Beavis and Butthead, but just a little bit more reined in.
Yeah.
So
well, it helped that you have such defined characters who never waver. They grow, but their viewpoints don't waver.
Yeah. Yeah, I just miss. There's so much stuff that just wouldn't fly now. Like Bobby would do something weird, and then Dale would just be like, "Sorry about your boy." It's just like that was just like
the entire character of John Redcorn probably couldn't exist.
He's exactly that guy. Like the character, he's in an episode of Parks and Rec. And he's like the gaming and wildlife reserve.
Oh yeah, he's been in. I think he's been in a couple episodes of Parks and Rec.
And he's in a lot of Mike Judge stuff too. And he's just that guy. He's John Redcorn, except not pretty. He's
man,
an unattractive man.
Well,
but yeah, Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. So this movie, it came out. It's a Tim Burton classic, 2007 musical period slasher film, an adaptation of Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler's Tony Award-winning 1979 musical of the same name. The film retells a Victorian melodramatic tale of Sweeney Todd, an English barber and serial killer who murders his customers with a straight razor. With the help of his accomplice, Mrs. Lovett, processes their corpses into meat pies. The film stars Johnny Depp as the title character and Helena Bonham Carter as Mrs. Lovett. This movie came out. It was named as one of the top 10 films of 2007 by the National Board of Review. It won the Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy at the Golden Globes, Best Actor Musical or Comedy for Johnny Depp. He also got nominated for Best Actor. There were a bunch of other things it got nominated for at the Oscars. Well, not a bunch. There are two. It got nominated for Best Costume Design and Best Art Direction. It got nominated for a shit ton of... There are a lot of random things it got nominated for. The Italian Online Movie Awards. This is the only time I've ever heard of that existing as an award. The Scream Awards, the Empire Awards, the Saturn Awards.
When you're a film guy, so you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've never heard of the Italian
Online
Awards?
Movie Awards. Not just the Italian Online Movie Awards.
Oh, Jesus.
Talk about your not good award things.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I
not
feel
prestigious to win the IAMO Award. IOMA? I don't care. So this movie, I remember when it came out.
Yeah.
Because I was a musical theater kid.
Oh, okay.
I was
cool.
I was a theater kid growing up.
You're not gonna like my views on this.
No. That's this. We're gonna have ourselves a discussion.
Okay, good.
Because watching this again, my views have evolved. So I'm a theater kid, and I remember watching this because there was a girl. I watched it sort of as a joke because there was a girl in my class who was really, really excited for this movie to come out, and she was the kind of girl who she was from Texas, but she talked in basically a British accent the entire time, was not from Britain. Really nice girl, but she was Southern through and through. And she had an accent that you just can't place. It's kind of like Marianne Williamson's now a little bit, where it's like mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
And she had a real but she could do the British voice anytime she wanted to. And she did it.
So she was
transnational, I guess. Her vocal cords were transitioning.
Okay.
And she went from being like a normal Southern girl before this movie came out to anytime this movie came out, it would basically I guarantee she didn't actually do it, but me and my friend group all imagined her talking just like Mary Poppins.
Oh,
and we would always, and she would talk about how excited she was about Sweeney Todd, and we would go, my favorite part of Sweeney Todd was, and we would just say all of that. And I remember it came out, and she was like, my favorite part of Sweeney Todd was, and I was like, this is real for you. And I saw it, I watched it because it got nominated for some stuff, and I was like, I feel like I should probably see this movie.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was like, all right, it's Tim Burton. This seems fun.
Exactly,
Musicals,
yep.
Cool, murder. And that was the first time I ever watched this movie. So tell me about the first time you ever watched this movie.
First of all, is this girl that you're talking about, does she work at a Joann's Fabrics now or something?
I think she's a high school theater teacher.
Okay, so it's similar.
It's close enough. That's the emotional version of working at Joann's Fabrics.
It's just you're too much for me. No job wants that girl.
She's my age, but she already has glasses that are on a chain around her neck.
I thought you were going to say tits. Her tits are already down to her belly button.
She's already got some Angela Lansbury
just
tits.
Some navel tits. So... Back in the days...
I prefer Air Force tits myself. I don't like the navel. They're too seafaring, too salty.
Oh, God. Just stepping all over them. So back in the days of Hollywood Video, there was a Hollywood Video about a mile from my house during the summer. I would always ride my longboard. And I lived in the hills area of Salt Lake, kind of... on the East Bench, which is just... It's not important. A lot of hills...
Okay.
And I was not the fittest individual. So I would walk the mile while my parents were at work to go to Hollywood Video, get a DVD, and then walk back. So you get bored doing that during the summer.
Right.
And so I'm looking for new releases. There I see Sweeney Todd. I'm a fan of Johnny Depp. I'm a fan of Tim Burton. So I was excited. I had never heard anything other than, oh, it's a murderer and he's fucking, it's a cool backstory.
Right. It's got it's murder, cannibalism.
Yep.
It's all, it's all you could ever want.
Sounds cool. And what year was it?
2007.
2007. So
this would be like summer 2008.
Okay, so I was like 16, 15. What else could you want? You know what I mean? You had cool movie, middle of the summer. Maybe I can sit down with a girl. Probably not. But I got back home from my 2-mile journey. And then I put on this movie expecting, Secret Window or whatever that, and it fucking opens up and I'm like, oh God, it's one of these. So I sat and watched and just waited for the singing to stop, and it never stopped.
Right. There's basically no part where there's not singing going on in this movie.
Yeah. And it's just, musical theater is what it is. It can be very good, but don't try to make it badass. You know what I mean? It's just, that's why it's like, I've since seen it, like an actual play. So I've seen an actual production of Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
Leaps and bounds better than the fucking movie. So it's Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp, but singing.
Right.
And he has no voice.
Right. He can't sing.
And then Tim Burton ruining something again, like he did with fucking Willy Wonka.
Uh-huh.
And then
And Beetlejuice.
And Helena Bonham Carter just being a tag along.
Right.
You know what I mean? Making fucking human meat pie. And so it was just such a fucking bummer, the combination of I thought I was going to get a good thriller, and instead I got songs and and my parents wouldn't drive me back to the Hollywood Video to get a new movie, so I was stuck with it.
Oh my God. So you really had no idea what it was about before? You didn't know it was a musical?
I did have a girlfriend at the time, and she said it was great. I remember texting her.
That's it though.
And she was like, because I don't think I had a car yet. I think I was probably 16 and I didn't have a car. I got my car when I was like 17. Mm-hmm. So I had to walk. And I just remember walking and being so pissed that like I couldn't go back.
I mean, you wasted an hour of your life walking to the place and back. Yeah. And then another 2 hours watching this movie and realizing what it was.
Yeah.
And then another hour to walk all the way to the Hollywood Video again and back.
Yeah, which I loved going to Hollywood Video, but I wasn't going to do it twice in a weekend.
Of course not.
Or whatever it was, summer.
So I feel like now that I've watched it again, and I rewatched it on the plane as I was, flying across the country today before I recorded this episode.
Humble brag.
And it was for a wedding. I don't need to brag about weddings that my friends, that my girlfriend's friends had that are weird.
Oh, was it weird?
It was, you know what? It's a total sidebar. It was a good wedding because this is the first time in our relationship that I've gone to a wedding that I have not known the people who were getting married at, and it's her friends.
Yeah.
And there was some real awkward shit that happened at this wedding where the bride's family, her 2 siblings are older than her by like 10 or 15 years. And they both gave toasts that were horrifying and brought up like their parents had a really bad divorce, and this older sister brought up abortion in the thing, and the older brother brought up families getting separated at the border in his thing, and they were both like, you were in diapers until you were 15, and we were just like, everybody at the wedding was mortified. And I was just sitting there just like biting my fist, trying not to cackle.
You're just delighted?
Yes.
I love shit like that.
I was like, this is some of the best stuff. No one could ever write anything as dark and hilarious as what's going on at this wedding.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wish that someone had written something dark and hilarious for a movie that I could watch this week instead of fucking Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
So Sweeney Todd, the problem that I've discovered with Sweeney Todd, now that I've watched it again as an adult who not only has seen more and better musicals and also has seen just better movies, it has Tim Burton written all over it as like, this is the perfect movie for Tim Burton to make. It's dark. It's about murder. It's got Helena Bonham Carter. It's got it's a musical, which he hadn't really done. He'd done a lot of stuff that had some sort of musical elements to it, but this is like a pure musical. And this is the musical that made him want to make movies. Like, he saw this in 1980 when he was in film school, and he decided that he wanted to make movies.
God damn.
And make movies like this musical.
Who wrote the play originally?
I believe Stephen Sondheim.
That's who it was. Yeah,
Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler.
Okay.
So
because it was a play that had absolute potential to be a fantastic movie.
Right, and I believe it won a handful. Yeah, it won the Tony Award for Best Musical. It won Best Book. It won Best Score. And it does have a lot of potential. But the problem that I found with the movie is that, and I don't know if the stage musical is like this, you'll have to tell me because you've seen it, is that it all wraps up too quickly.
Yeah.
The pacing is all fucking off.
Yeah, and it kind of doesn't go into detail about why he just starts indiscriminately killing people.
Right.
I think that's the part that was like, why? What? It doesn't explain. Okay, so the whole concept is he gets thrown in jail in Australia for some trumped up charges because this judge, who's Professor Snape, Alan Rickman, fucking
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, fucking kills it.
Right.
But so he throws him in jail, and then first of all, he says, what was it? He goes, what are the charges? And I think he says foolishness. Yeah.
Yes.
He says, I was going to say nonsense or foolishness. Hey, man, not a crime. That's not a crime.
But this is 1850s Britain.
That's true.
Anything could be a crime.
That's true. So he sends him away.
Keep in mind, this is also a man who genuinely thinks that getting a shave will make him the apple of a 16-year-old's eye.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. Because he fucks Sweeney Todd. I can't remember his original name.
Benjamin Barker.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he
Benjamin Barker.
That's why he gets him out of the country, because he wants to be with his wife.
Right.
She ends up killing herself, and then he sets his sights on Joanna, who's the daughter.
And he takes the daughter and raises the daughter as his ward.
So he, pulls
he's doing a Woody Allen.
Yeah. So he pulls a Woody Allen, and it's really so. It doesn't even it makes sense that it's like, okay, so this guy needs to kill the judge,
right?
But he just starts killing people who've wronged him, but then after it just kind of takes a turn, and he's like, I'm just gonna kill everybody.
Right.
So anybody who's just coming in for a fucking haircut, he's like, I'm going to slit your throat. And so it's just like, but you had a mission before. Now you don't. Now you're just a dick. And so it kind of just veers off course. And then it ends up being just Johnny Depp being Jack Sparrow, being Sweeney Todd.
Right.
So the whole, I just got infuriated by, and then it's Helena Bonham Carter kind of she's way too desperate for the role. So she's making these meat pies that she knows are terrible meat pies. And then, they're like, oh, we'll fix it by putting people meat in it. And then it just doesn't, but she's too desperate.
Right.
This is not, so in the play, it's a little bit more, it comes across why he's killing, because he becomes a serial killer and he's possessed. And now he just is taking it out on all mankind because he's lost faith in humanity.
Right.
But in the movie, it's just like, all right, and then it's done. It seems like it just ends. But yeah, I don't like that. It's just this emo kid, Barber, who, so the whole story should be stupid, but when I saw it, and because I've seen plays that I'm like, this is a cool play. You know what I mean, I liked Phantom of the Opera, which is kind of a similar You know,
man.
Yeah.
I did not like Phantom of the
Really?
Opera. Nah.
I think it's just because it makes me nostalgic. Because it was the first play that I ever saw. My brother made me feel like I was like not cool because my mom took him to see it, and then I just watched the movie, and then I eventually got to see it, and I was like, now I've seen it too. But I have a weird relationship with musical theater because my parents used to just make me go to plays.
Okay, mine did too.
Yeah. So but you enjoyed them, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we had a handful of theaters in my in Fort Worth and Dallas that they would take me to every once in a while.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So there were some that were like kids. There were some that were adult. Not like whatever.
Spam-A-Lot or whatever.
No, not Spam-A-Lot. Unfortunately,
That's
I would
a
have
great play.
loved to have fucking seen Spam-A-Lot. I'm talking stuff like, oh god, we saw this movie, a musical Aida, which is like a Disney movie that didn't become a Disney movie, and they just went straight to making it an adaptation on Broadway. And it feels very Disney movie-esque, and it's got the songs written by the people who did Lion King, Elton John, and Tim Rice. And I remember seeing that, and I saw some other stuff. I was in Oklahoma, and I feel like I saw Oklahoma at one point growing up.
Yeah, you had to.
But I liked musicals, and I still do. Like, I was just in New York, and there was that blackout that just happened in New York over the weekend.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, there was a blackout, and
shit.
it affected all of Broadway for the most part. Like, there were a handful of shows that didn't get canceled, but a lot of shows had to cancel for the day because the blackout shut the power out of their theaters. And what people from the cast did was they left their theaters, and all these theater goers are just hanging out on the street, and so they started doing impromptu songs. And I watched too many clips on Twitter of the same song happening from like people from Come From Away and people from Hadestown, and I'm just like, oh, this is really nice. And that's what kind of a sad, weepy person I am on the inside.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is great. This is art.
I have that with a lot of things. Like if people are like. Did you see they already did this they talked about it on Your Mom's House podcast, so I don't want to sound like I'm like hacking it, but like they had the entire cast from the Broadway production of Lion King on a flight, and they sang a song on the plane.
Okay.
And it was the opening song with that lady just screaming.
Yeah.
And so it's just
of nowhere.
So it's just some morning flight, and it's like, we're gonna give you a treat. I would have wanted to kill myself.
I mean, that's better than when the flight attendants try and tell you fucking jokes.
Yeah, that's true.
I've had pilots
I've had a pilot that rapped before.
I've had pilots that sing, and then the plane applauds for the pilot, and I'm just like, this is not your chance to be in a movie, guys. This is not your chance to be an inspirational.
It's so rude.
Come on.
So my parents
just show us what gate we're getting off at, please.
I like them the ones that are grizzled, and you could tell they flew like a B-22 in Vietnam or something, and they're just like, I don't give a fuck. Just we're gonna get you there safe, and then I'm gonna get drunk while we do it. But yeah, my parents have taken me to several plays, and I've seen several plays as an adult that I dislike, but others that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I took a girl to see Chicago on Broadway. I really liked it. So like I used to think I just hated all musical theater across the board. And I like certain plays, but my parents just made it so terrible, because I remember they took me to see Les Miserables when I was like 9.
Oh, so they ruined you.
Yeah, and so it was 3 hours, and it was during the summer again, and so I had to sit in this theater, and I'm like, I just want to go play outside. And then I remember my stepdad sat me down and was like, how can you not enjoy the character development between Jean Valjean and Cosette? And I'm just like, I just want to go eat ice cream and drink Slurpees with my friends. I don't know what. So like anytime certain musicals come on, like he would listen to the soundtrack on road trips and just cry.
Yeah.
Like he would just listen to the Les Mis soundtrack and cry. And so a lot of it I just don't get.
Well, there's a thing I think and we got to draw a distinction here between straight up musicals and movie musicals.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of crossover because people see a musical and they eventually think, all right, cool, we can turn this into a movie. And there have been a lot of attempts at doing that, and they largely fail because what makes a musical really good is different in the end of the day than what makes a movie good. Like, obviously, you both have to have a good story and something that people will get on board with the characters, and you have character development. But with a musical, there's more time that you have just as a form to keep people at least captive in the theater. You can't really do that for a movie, or else people are going to get weird. Like the thing with Sweeney Todd, I never say this about movies. I think it should have been longer if it wanted to work right.
Yeah.
I think it needed at least another like 15 to 20 minutes of something. Maybe it just needed more breathing room.
Do you like Tim Burton movies generally?
You know what?
Like, honestly,
not really.
Yeah. See,
there are Tim Burton movies that I've watched and liked.
Yeah,
but he's not anywhere near my favorite directors.
I think
he's too
that's
tropey.
Yeah, I think that's why it bothered me so much, was because it was just like, we're doing this again. Where it's just first of all, he fucked up Charlie and the Chocolate Factory so bad, and that was that was a special movie for me as a kid. And then I see it, and he makes it creepy and weird, and it was a creepy fucking movie, but it wasn't like as gothic and kind of like cartoony as he made it. And then he did that with this too, so it was almost just a caricature of, it's like, it would be like if you took a story about Jack the Ripper and made it, really sing-songy and super lame. Like, it was so like, there wasn't a lot of soul behind it. It seemed like Tim Burton being Tim Burton rather than Tim Burton sticking true to the story.
Right. And this is the problem that I find with Tim Burton, is that it feels the longer that guy makes movies, it really started to feel like he has become a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
And I have to emphasize, there's nothing wrong with making a stylistic choice that is consistent, like having a style, like Wes Anderson.
Like Wes Anderson, yeah.
Obviously, if you see a movie, it's a Wes Anderson movie because of the way it's shot, and because of the way that the camera moves, and because of the way the art direction is. But it always feels different, at least.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen two Wes Anderson movies and thought, oh, this guy's losing it.
Even the ones I don't enjoy, I typically I can find something in them. He always has good actors, and Tim Burton seems like he makes the exact same decision for every movie. Right. And then he has to cast his Yoko Ono fucking wife, who just Helena Bonham Carter is just, she's such a shit actor because she plays the same role. Right. And it's just, and so does Johnny Depp. I mean, I don't even necessarily like Johnny Depp that much anymore, because as a kid I was like, yeah, he's badass, but now I'm like, he's the same guy in every movie ever, except for What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
He became Captain Jack Sparrow, and he got nominated. He got nominated for an Oscar for playing Captain Jack Sparrow, which a lot of people I think forget. And then since then, that's who he is. Yeah, I even remember there was some profile in some magazine a couple years ago, after all the shit with Amber Heard went down, and it was basically like, a lot of people look at Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, and maybe the characters have bled into each other because he drinks all the time and all sorts of other shit. I'm like, we've been saying this for years.
Well, yeah, and then that fucking, what he spends his money on, oh my God. I don't think he hit his wife, but I think he is an absolute piece of shit.
I think he's a total fucking train wreck.
Yeah. For sure. Because he laughed when somebody was like, he spent however many $1 million on wine. He's like, well, that's an understatement. He cockily was like, well. And then he was friends with Hunter S. Thompson, which is cool. Right. But also, I feel like if you were nuts enough, you could be I don't know if that's necessarily a win. If Hunter S. Thompson liked you, I feel like that's oh shit, I'm fucking up. Right. So Yeah.
If Hunter S. Thompson is seeing eye to eye with you, imagine what level you are on. Because that man has had his brain run through a fucking spin cycle so many times.
Did you see the Conan thing with him?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Where they drink whiskey and shoot guns.
Yeah, and he
which
just
is great.
screams in the middle, and then Conan goes, he was holding a gun about 5 minutes ago. And it's just like, he's out of his fucking mind. But yeah, I think that's what bugged me the most about it. It was just Tim Burton being Tim Burton. And so like, because he could take the happiest or the best story and make it like, thank God he didn't get Harry Potter. He would have fucking destroyed it.
Right.
Because I loved Harry Potter, but I would have quickly been like, I hate Harry Potter so much.
I mean, I had no desire to see Dumbo. I had no desire to see any of the Alice in Wonderland movies. I had no desire even to see a movie like Corpse Bride or Frankenweenie, where people are like, this is a good movie. And I'm just sitting there watching the trailers and being like, first of all, this is not even close to like the kind of movie stylistically that I would probably appreciate.
Yeah.
But also, it just feels more and more, like I said, it just feels more and more like he's becoming a caricature of himself.
Are there any, like when you think about it, is there any other, I guess Matt Groening kind of does that. With how he, except did you see his new series?
The one for Netflix?
Yeah.
Disenchanted?
It's really good.
I hadn't
really
seen
good. So he kind of does that, but he does it the way that Wes Anderson does it, where he makes it charming. Because Futurama was good too.
Futurama is so good.
Yeah.
And I love, well, that's the other thing too, is like now we're starting to see directors who are on their second or third movie and they're starting to develop a very obvious style. You see like your Jordan Peele's, your Ari Aster's.
I still haven't seen Get Out.
Get Out is so good. And Us is also quite good. But there's a lot of stylistic similarities, of course, but they're vastly different movies at the real core because Get Out's story is a lot simpler than Us's story.
Oh.
Same with Midsommar. Midsommar and Hereditary, both from Ari Aster, who feels who's like he's sort of started carving his niche out as like a horror Wes Anderson. But Hereditary and Midsommar are diametrically opposed. Complete opposites in terms of the tone of the movie. And I mean, the biggest similarity is that you have a really strong female lead who does a lot of scream crying and is very frightening to watch. And there's also a lot of really horrifying imagery involving heads.
Oh, shit.
But that's about it.
I still haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen any new movies in such a long time.
What's the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Coco.
That was 3 years ago almost, right?
Yeah, it's been a long
Was
time.
it 2016?
Maybe 2017?
Oh my God. Dude, you got to get to the movies.
I know
more.
I do.
What are you doing with your life? Are you doing just 4 open mics a day?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hanging out?
I go to the gym and hang out with my dogs. And you know what I mean? I just like my wife went to a concert last night and it was like one of her favorite bands, and it was they got in this big accident, and so like it took them like 5 years to rehab, and like now they did this big comeback show, and she came back and she was like, I think I'm turning into you. And I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, I just went, and I was like, this sucks. And I was like, that's not me. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, that's the shit that happens, man. Your tastes change, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I used to love Big Fish, speaking of Tim Burton movies.
Oh, yeah.
Is
that a Tim Burton movie? Okay, that was a good movie. I loved that movie.
See, I also loved Big Fish growing up, and I remember going to watch it with... This had to have been, like 4 years ago almost. I had just started hanging out with a girl for it was our second time ever hanging out. And
we're going to see the new Lion King. That's what we're going to see.
Don't see that. It's the same Lion King.
Continue your story.
Don't see the Lion
your story,
King.
and then we'll tackle it.
Okay. So I go to watch. I basically go to this girl's house. We're like eating In-N-Out, and we're like, what should we do? Oh, let's watch Big Fish. I used to like that movie. It's still good. And we watched it, and I was like, oh fuck, this movie doesn't hold up.
Oh no.
And I mean, that was great for us because then we could just make out on the couch, and like get and start dating. But that movie not holding up really got to me because I was like, what is happening? Because is this going to happen to other movies that I used to love that I'm going to watch? And it has to a lesser degree. Like I saw when they did the re-release of 2001: A Space Odyssey last summer. I went and saw that at the ArcLight because that was one of the only places they were doing it. They did like the 75 millimeter re-release or 70 millimeter. And I was like super stoked, and my girlfriend hadn't seen it, and I was like, this movie's great. This is one of my all-time favorites.
So it was
the
original.
Yeah,
they didn't remake it already.
They just did. Yeah, Christopher Nolan did like a remastered print of it, and I watched it, and I was like, "All right, this is still a really great movie, but it's definitely not one of the all-time great movies in my mind." And I also don't think people should look at it and be like, "That's an all-time great movie."
Yeah, I watched that movie when I was a kid. My stepdad was really into aliens, and we watched that movie. It was great when I was a kid, and then I tried to watch it again with a girl, and I was like, I can't make an excuse.
Right. I can't.
Or the original Star Wars, like
Star Wars.
you can't tell a girl, like you can't be like, this is going to be the best movie you ever see, because it came out in what, the 70s, and
yeah, I think 75.
then you watch it and it's like you can all but see the strings carrying the fucking. And they're just like, I don't know what you're showing me right now, but that's I like. So Fantastic Beasts, I saw Fantastic Beasts, the second one
With Johnny Depp.
Yeah, but he's in like 2
in a
seconds
snippet of it,
and
yeah.
it's fucking, both those movies were great. And then I saw They Shall Not. I can't remember. It was Peter Jackson's movie that he colorized.
They shall not grow old.
Yeah,
The World War I movie.
I love all that World War II, World War I shit. I was a.
Do you see Dunkirk? You didn't see Dunkirk?
I didn't see Dunkirk.
Dude, if you like all that stuff, you love Dunkirk.
I know. I wanted to see it when it was in theaters, and I just kept forgetting, because even my stepdad is a history nerd. I keep fucking bringing him up. He's a history professor, and that's how I got into history stuff. And he's usually such a bitch about historical movies, and he was like, it was amazing. So I still haven't seen it.
It definitely is one of those movies that you gotta. I wish I don't know how it would hold up on a smaller screen.
Yeah, that was what I was worried about.
It's a really great. It was for me the best movie of the year that it came out in 2017, and I think it should have won Best Picture. But
God, that's so wild.
It also really is one of those immersive experience kind of movies.
Yeah,
which Nolan is great at making.
I saw Fury in theaters, and then I saw it. I watched it with somebody just on a TV, and I was like, "This sucks."
Yeah,
Like it was just, and because there were so many flaws in it.
That's probably how I'd feel if I watched 8 Below.
I haven't seen that.
I saw 8 Below in my church group when I was in middle school, and I cried.
Oh shit!
Because it's about dogs dying.
Oh yeah.
But if I watch it now, I'm probably be like, "Oh, these fucking dogs."
Same with Marley and Me. If I watch Marley and Me again, I might cry, but I might also be like, Owen Wilson is the worst choice for this movie, because it was, or like A Dog's Purpose. If I watch that, I feel like I cry enough over dogs.
But what about A Dog's Journey?
Yeah,
which hasn't come out yet. I don't think.
Oh my god. We saw Secret Life of Pets when it came out too, and now I'm so upset that Patton Oswalt weaseled his way into Louis C.K.'s character, because I know he probably loved it so much. So I'm going to take this from him. I'm still trying to think of what's the last movie we saw. Speaking of movies that don't hold up, pretty much all Quentin Tarantino movies.
What? Oh, hot takes. How are you going to wait until we're almost done recording to drop? Also, I don't think any of Quentin Tarantino's
I don't. That's not what I did. Listen, Inglourious Basterds was my favorite movie. It was my favorite movie for a long time, and then I watched it, and I've seen it a million times, so that could be it too. I still love like the original movies. I love Pulp Fiction still. I still love Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, I'm coming off this ledge that I was about to jump off
I still love Reservoir Dogs. I still love Pulp Fiction. I loved Kill Bill when I was a kid, but then like I watched Kill Bill again, and I was like, you know what I mean?
Are you gonna go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Is that the one with Leo and
Leo, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie?
I might see it just for Margot Robbie.
Yeah, you get to watch Margot Robbie get murdered, I bet.
Dude, she is such a fucking soldier of a woman. She did full frontal nudity when she was barely 19 years old in Wolf of Wall Street. She is a gem.
She should have gotten nominated for an Oscar for I, Tonya.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh, dude, if you like Margot Robbie, you'll love I, Tonya. She's great in it.
Did you like? I like Django too, but
Django's
like
good.
After like somebody convinced me of how terrible it was, like they were like, it's racist, and I was like, wait, what? How's it racist?
It is. It's a movie set in the South.
Yeah,
where Leonardo DiCaprio throws the N-word around a bunch. Of course, it's racist.
but he was so good in it too. I loved him.
What did you guys expect?
Yeah, but they said something about like because Christoph Waltz saves Jamie Foxx, that it's the white man saving, and it's like,
oh, I'm sorry you don't believe in the integrity of a man who sleeps in a footbed. I'm so sorry. This is a direct address to whoever your friend is.
it's my brother who's never gonna hear this. That's funny. He was like, well, it's like he saved, and I was like, he's a German guy who fucking is in the South, and like black people were generally enslaved, so like he's the one who could have saved him.
Right.
So fuck Sweeney Todd.
Fuck Sweeney Todd
is basically.
I would watch any other movie besides Sweeney Todd. I mean, as far as Tim Burton movies go, this is pretty low rung. I feel like it's just too Tim Burton-y, man. It's too Tim Burton-y for its own good.
I think so too. That's what I hated about it. Is I remember even watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and like, how did you see that new one?
I did.
And
I
how
did it at a very early episode for the show.
Oh yeah. So it's how it starts, and it's just like dun 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 dun. Like he does the same thing with Sweeney Todd, where he makes the whole soundtrack like way too Tim Burton-y.
It's very Tim Burton-y, and the pacing is very off in a lot of his movies, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, I kept checking the time of this movie, and I remember when he finally starts killing people, it's about an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
That was
and
the
I was
other
like,
thing.
There's 45 minutes left in this. How is this going to resolve itself?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's steampunk. He's very steampunk and fucking corny. Like it's steampunk and corny.
I feel Tim Burton's a dude he doesn't wear glasses. He wears fucking goggles that he has to cleanse off.
Yeah. Does he live in LA? I feel like he would live in I
feel like Tim Burton lives in a sewer somewhere. That he's just like he lives in his version of the Batcave. He lives in the Burt Cave,
or like a silo, like a repurposed silo that he just like made in Ohio, or like Iowa, just because he wants to live in some weird obscurity.
If you want to find out what Tim Burton is, you have to blow. You have to write a note and leave it in a bottle that you also whisper your deepest, darkest secret into, and then you throw it into a storm drain, and a rat will come to you in the middle of the night, and you have to follow that rat.
It would be a rat
to
too.
Tim Burton's house.
A rat with a monocle.
Yes.
And then like the bottle,
and the rat is also singing to you while you're doing it,
and it ends up being that actor who's Wormtail in Harry Potter.
Timothy Spall.
Yep, it ends up being him, and he turns into whatever, and he's also their roommate. He lives in their garage that's now furnished into a man cave for Timothy
Spall, man.
And it has to be a bottle. The bottle that you use has to be like a pre-1950s glass bottle.
Right. And he can tell the difference. He can tell if you took the label and just like dumped it in tea and then crinkled it up and burned the edges. Tim Burton's better than that.
Yeah.
You know? Don't do some Joanne's Fabric ass shit on Tim Burton. That's how you tie an episode together, Pete.
That's a callback.
Guys, it's been wonderful having you on. I don't know why I said guys and then it just turned to you. It's been wonderful having you on,
Did
Pete.
I do it right?
Did I do it right.
Okay, cool.
You blockbusted.
Okay.
You busted that block.
Fuck you, Johnny Depp.
Fuck you, Tim Burton.
Fuck you, Tim Burton. Fuck Helena Bonham Carter, too, that Yoko Ono. Fucking weird bitch.
What an episode. So where can listeners find you, Pete? If they want to talk shit about you and, throw Hot Topic merchandise on fire tied to a brick. If somebody wants to tie a Gryffindor scarf around a brick and throw it through your house.
I live in Echo Park, and it's a lovely house. We have a gate, but I am on Instagram. I'm taking this cat home. Pete Souvall, not Pete Souvall. And then I have a podcast called Blackout Pod with Pete Souvall too, where we talk about movies we hate and deconstruct them. And it's
a fun podcast. I did that one.
You did, and you're going to have to do it again.
I have to re-record it?
Yep.
Is this you break the news to me?
Yeah, Travis said the file is corrupted.
It's okay. We'll find the time.
So
we'll find the time another 2 hours. That'll be a better spent 2 hours than this one was.
Yeah, was this 2 hours?
The movie was.
Oh yeah.
This podcast, we're coming in at a cool 45.
Oh hell yeah. Perfect.
I run these things short, baby.
Yeah.
You can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates. If you are in Europe and specifically are going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, I'll be there too. I'm doing my hour every day for 25 days, August 1st through 25th. Details are on my website. Check it out, jlight.
He's staring right at you too. Right through your soul.
I see you. And if you don't, I'm going to come and slit your throat with a straight razor. How about that for a product tie-in, guys?
Fuck you.
This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.